Gamers and Realists. This is the midweek pod before the OU Alabama game. We are excited. It's the last home game of the season for the Sooners, and maybe we're just excited because that means our suffering at home will come to an end, but maybe not. Maybe on senior night we're going to show up and do great. I'm Steve.
Lucas.
Connor.
Jay.
And guys, as always, the midweek is brought to us by Dr. Michael Kiehn. Dr. Michael Kiehn, board-certified surgeon specializing in orthopedic sports medicine for over 20 years. Dr. Kiehn has been serving the greater Oklahoma City area along with western Oklahoma. Not only does this include surgical skills and primarily the knees and shoulders, he is a constant figure on football sidelines throughout Oklahoma high schools and colleges. Dr. Kihn's deep commitment to sports and devotion to his patients proves that he's a man to see, even though he's an Oklahoma State fan. So, Oklahoma State aside, they got their own struggles. We've got ours. We've got to get bowl eligible. And we did a poll this week. How did you guys answer? The question was, what is the probability OU makes a bowl? And the options were less than 5%, 5 to 25%, 25 to 50%, or greater than 50%.
5 to 25.
Same.
And I actually was then frustrated because I realized I should have done some calculations because that is probably a bad number.
Too low.
Too low. Almost definitely too low. That was the majority of the finding. If not majority, it was definitely the plurality. So just to give you some numbers, if according to the playoff predictor, as well as just the implied odds of this week's game, OU has about an 18% chance of winning. If they have a 40% chance of winning against LSU, then that gives them a 50% chance of being bowl eligible. So that, to me, that's getting close to, that maybe on the high side, but that's getting close to where they probably should be. To get to just 5% or less, they have to have a 2.5% chance of winning each of the two games, which is absurdly low. To get to 25%, they'd have to have a 13.5% chance for each of the two games, which we've already said Alabama's plugging in at 18%. So even if that's a little bit high, it's hard to believe that LSU, who does not look nearly as good as Alabama, is something that's more challenging for OU. So, and if LSU is exactly the same at 18%, that's about a 33% chance. So it looks to me like there's actually a 25 to 50% chance about any way you'd reasonably cut it. But that's not the sentiment. That's not the vibe. That's not how we answered. And it's not how most of our listeners answered, for sure. So I think that's telling as to the state of OU football, the state of the fan base. If we go out and win Saturday, how totally shocked is Sooner Nation going to be?
Pretty surprised.
Similar to the 2014 Sugar Bowl when we beat Bama.
What
I don't know if it's like that.
What were we in that game? We're like 17-point dogs in that game.
Big dogs.
Yeah.
But it felt.
But we had a functional offense.
To me, it felt worse than that
Yeah.
back then. Honestly.
That's interesting.
You think back then it feels worse than now?
Yeah.
No way.
I do.
I mean, we were in a BCS quote unquote bowl. The Sugar Bowl outside the playoff is
I know,
a
but
top-tier bowl. This year,
I'm not
we're even
saying.
sniffing a bowl game.
I'm not saying that we've.
We were questioning players a lot more back then. Now we're questioning coaching more, I would say.
We were questioning.
I don't think Bama today is going to beat that Bama team. I feel like that Bama team is a lot better than right now.
A lot.
I do.
They were pretty good, but I don't know about a lot.
I don't know. I think they're pretty equal. That Bama defense was better than.
Their offense was stacked too, though.
Yeah, the defense was better
I
then.
mean, McCarron, probably not as good as Milroe, but better
A
passer.
young Derrick Henry.
Young Derrick Henry,
We didn't
Yeldon,
run him enough for that.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Yedlin. Yedlin?
Yeldon.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeldon.
Yeldon?
TJ Yeldon.
Yeldon. Yeah, I'm
Um,
thinking Yedlin, the soccer player. It's Yeldon, the football player, the American football player. And Yeldon had a big fumble in that game, actually. Turned a lot of momentum. But anyways, I think if we win Saturday, it'll be euphoric because I think it would be an anomaly relative to what we've seen. But I would take the win any way it comes. And it does kind of go back to, I still don't know if I want to see this team go to a bowl game and have to mentally prepare for that. I want to see us be successful, but we talked about all those pros and cons last week.
Well, if you win this week, though, then you're looking at LSU probably completely different.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
the difference in bowl, the difference of maybe finishing the season with 8 wins versus 5 it's pretty significant in the
It is-
grander scheme.
It is significant in the scheme of things, probably for the fan base, donor base. One thing that's nice
We
is
can't finish with 8 wins. So just with the bowl game.
Yeah, that's what I'm
with the
saying.
bowl
I
game. Yeah.
apologize. Yeah.
So there's no fear, and this is a fortunate thing of them making the move they made. There's no fear they retain the offensive coordinator if we pull it out and it goes 7-5 in the regular season
Yeah.
because they've already fired him. And then and we know there's no chance. I mean, they're on an active search. Everything's changing. So I think it would be just taken as good news, not that hit you in the gut. Oh God, what if they don't change anything? I think they know they have to change everything, even if they pull it out. But it would give us the hope that maybe we're not that bad. Maybe we've got some stuff to work with.
I think you'd have to look like the Kansas City Chiefs the next 2 weeks to have like even a remote chance of keeping Joe John and
You mean cheating and have the entire NFL working in your
I don't
favor,
think,
including
if you
Toby
score
Swift?
50 points the next 2 games, you're not keeping it. Is the OC. He might stay on staff as the tight end / co-OC.
I mean that's
but
it's a pretty
you
strong
score
argument.
50 against Bama.
I don't think there's any way.
I'm not keeping it.
I don't think there's
No
any way
chance.
he stays as anything. The only thing he might stay as is an assistant coach.
Honestly, if we scored 50 points the next 2 games, the offense is just rolling on all cylinders.
No,
He's gone.
I mean, that's so fanciful. I just don't know what that, it's hard to imagine that, but I think he's probably still gone because
Is
I
it
think
because
to make
what
that
if
happen,
Missouri had been better?
our performance against Missouri, maybe, yes. If Missouri wasn't the giant setback that it obviously
Yeah.
was, but we could score 50 points on offense and he still doesn't keep his job, 50 points in both games, because it's just a bunch of obviously fluky stuff that got us there. It wouldn't be like, oh my God, this is brilliant. You'd be saying, wow, that 5-yard play was busted and it went for a touchdown. And then that, deflection off of the defensive back that fell right into
I
his
didn't
arms.
say
and
that,
went for a
though.
touchdown.
Playing Robinson,
But I'm saying that's the only way it goes 50.
6-yard gain was
I mean,
a 60-yard gain.
Like you're saying, like we come out and schematically it looks
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant.
There's no way. There's no way you can gain that level of competence in 2 weeks.
No, you're not. That's
There's
what
no-
I'm
But
saying.
if it happens, I mean, I guess in that
If it happens, I'm
1%
really
of
pissed
1%
off.
scenario, then you got to ask yourself, where's this?
what-
been?
yeah,
What
what-
happened?
what
What was the
happened?
magic difference between the two?
Kevin Jones.
It's the bye week for Joe John to get his ducks in a row.
Yeah, I guess so.
I will say, being Joe John, I don't think it does you any good at all if you're trying to get potential job in the future.
Joe John could go to Mississippi State tomorrow.
I just mean for him, right? If he's auditioning, so to speak, just to do the status quo and not take all these chances and stuff in this game. I mean, I hope he just throws it all out the window.
Oh, I agree. I don't think there's
Just go for it.
I think it'd reflect poorly on him if he did hold back and look too conservative. Because so if you go out there and you get wild and you're clearly trying stuff, no one will blame you for trying stuff if it doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, you can say, well, we were just trying to win a football game and get bowl eligible. But if you go out there real conventionally and do you lay another Missouri egg, 2 in a row especially, who's going to hire this guy?
I'm the exact opposite. I want to see ball control, let the defense hold them to what they can and win this game 13-10 or something.
Yeah,
That's
but
your
we did-
only chance of winning this game. You're not going to score in the 30s on Bama with this offense.
Yeah,
Okay, but Jackson
not
Arnold,
gonna
Jackson Arnold has to throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field.
yeah.
I
I'm
mean,
not saying
you can't
I'm
have
not
2
saying you
passes
run
over 15
razzle-dazzle
yards
trick
the whole
plays
game.
every
Yeah, but he
down.
could throw 15 times the whole game, and that's your best chance of winning.
Well, that's fine.
Well,
because-
that's fine.
Because the
Yeah.
running game up the middle has actually come alive
Yes.
the last couple games.
Yes, I agree with that.
And with Tatum and Robinson, and is Barnes going to be back?
Nope. Sounds like his
Barnes
injury's
is
worse.
still out.
Yeah.
So that makes it even tougher then. So you're going to have to rely on
Or he's
2
questionable. Actually, we should know in 15 minutes.
You're gonna have to rely on 2 true freshmen, one of which wasn't even on campus until June, to ride against Alabama, who obviously is down from the Nick Saban Bamas, but they're still
Not that far.
prohibitive playoff contender. I mean, people are picking them to win the whole thing at this point. So your only chance of winning this game is to keep it in the under 20.
Yeah,
Because your
I don't
offense is not
disagree
going to
with
score.
that. I don't disagree with that.
I'm not saying first down is a flea flicker.
Right, I agree.
Second down is a wide receiver
Right.
pass. Third down is a
Right.
double reverse.
But you can't run up the middle.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3.
and then throw 5-yard hitches.
I
don't think
It
so.
worked on that drive against Missouri.
I don't think that alone. Like you're gonna have to even get more creative than that.
that
in
was a throw.
rushing game.
That was a throwback pass to the quarterback. That's how he scored.
Well, at
Yeah.
the very end, but
That's true.
to getting us down the field was handed off up the middle to Robinson, handed up the middle to Robinson over
Yeah.
and over. Then he averaged 8.2 yards a carry or something.
6.2.
6.2 yards a carry.
Still. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna cut loose, like it better work. Like if you go a couple drives and the game plan like is just not being executed, then I tend towards Lucas and say control possession, take points where you can get them, which this year has been you can't find them anywhere it seems like. But I don't know, like even
I don't think we're disagreeing there.
yeah, no, I
I
don't
think
either.
we're
I'm just
saying
saying I think it's just that I
When
don't
he
know how to
passes,
play
it needs to be wide open.
Yeah.
It needs to be you're going for it.
Well,
It can't be we're trying to keep it
It
safe.
could be a bunch of tunnel screens. To go back to the old Baylor offense when they used to just have wide receivers out there blocking for tunnel screens, and then you run a halfback screen, and you can move down the field doing dinking and dunking like that. And I don't
Sure.
care how they get there. I don't want Jackson scrambling with the ball because he can't hold on to it.
Right.
You don't want him
Agree.
going over the middle because he's not seeing guys. You have to make this
The
most
irony,
simple
though-
possible offense for Jackson to hand the ball off and throw short passes.
The irony is, Jackson hasn't been throwing just god awful interceptions all season long. He only has a couple on the whole season. They've just been terrible when he does.
Well, his last
We
pick
just
was
can't
Tennessee,
hold on to
I
the
think.
football, which is
Wasn't it? His last interception was against Tennessee, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but he's fumbled 5 times this season,
Yeah.
or 6 times. Also, he didn't play the Auburn game.
Should he play?
because even Hawkins, his only interception
So,
is South Carolina. That's his only one on the season.
So
Everything
Yeah,
else is a
makes sense.
fumble.
so that's where I'm thinking like along Jay's
But
lines,
everything else is a carrying the
You should
football fumble.
you should be throwing the ball enough that those type of interceptions are at actually risk. But only maybe as much as you need to do. I'm not saying I want us to be 70-30 pass. I think actually we should be 70-30 run. And I think a low score is our best chance. I agree.
Yeah.
Agree with that in possession football. But should he even play? Or should Hawkins get the start?
I think it's got to be short leash. If he fumbles the ball at any point, I don't care if it's a blindside sack fumble. I put Hawkins out there and if you got to alternate series with them, just to throw Alabama off, because obviously Hawkins is the better run threat, but Jackson can still run. Maybe you go out there and kind of opposite them and you let Hawkins throw it deep, and then you let Jackson run the ball, and Bama didn't know what the hell's going on because it's completely counterintuitive to what you think's going to happen. And maybe the old Florida method of Chris Leak and Tebow, and then they did it
Yeah.
back before that with
Oh, if you got to third
and somebody else came in there.
if you got to
ran-
3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and you trot Hawkins out there for a zone read type play, that'd be perfectly fine.
Well, and at this point, like the season's lost. Yeah, you're trying to get bowl eligible. You're looking for an OC. It's not like you're trying to establish or firm up a playbook. Like get gimmicky. Like
Yeah.
do crazy stuff like that. Like, hey,
I don't think
nothing's
that's crazy.
well,
Right.
relative
I'm
to
not
the
saying
relative
both
to the
quarterbacks out there at
standard.
once.
No, I know.
am
Well,
saying
I
that.
wouldn't mind that at all. But yeah, it's just like screw it. Nothing's been working. We're running a two QB system this week, and we're gonna see how it goes. Like you're playing Bama, you're almost a 2-touchdown dog at home. Go make something out of it, and
He would throw them off.
I would
right?
like to see
They're
Hawkins-
not prepared for a 2 quarterback system.
I like to see Hawkins because we haven't seen him with Joe John
Mhm.
calling plays.
That's true.
But what are the practice reps? Like
Don't know.
if he's getting 20%, then you probably don't want to see it. Now is Thompson is he a left-handed quarterback? I can't remember. So he's left-handed. So
Yeah.
man, you get to do what me and Jay have talked about for 2 decades.
That's right.
You put a right-handed quarterback and a left-handed quarterback out there side by side. You don't know which one's going to get the ball snapped to
Yeah.
him, and you do all kinds of crazy stuff out of that formation.
Georgia Tech runs 2 QBs out.
You run that
once.
5 times during this game and see what happens.
You better have a play out of it though. The
Yeah.
problem
You
is
lose a guy.
I don't not like that at all. I'm scared that this would not be the experiment in that you want, because he'd be throwing to Oklahoma receivers and they would be getting blocked by an Oklahoma offensive line and tight end. And it may just get so blown up is the problem.
My other, like you were saying with Jackson, if he fumbles, no matter what the reason, I feel the same way about not throwing the ball. I mean, you have to throw it down the field, and not just when people are streaking open.
Right.
Like, you've got to make legitimate Division I throws to
15-yard routes.
It's not, yeah.
But
He just refused
I don't
in the
think
Missouri game.
I think he's lost all confidence to do it.
Well, then
Yeah,
you don't even
some
put
of
on the
those
field.
screenshots that you see aren't really legitimate, because that's taken in a millisecond when the next frame is a guy breaking through the line coming at his face. I mean, and
There's some
the one where they showed that
Okay, but
Burks was sitting down in the zone, there's a guy that's, I don't know, 6 feet from him. And by the time you can fire that in there, all that guy has to do is take 2 steps up and swat it away. So it wasn't as open as people were making some of those screenshots look, but they just weren't. Because when you go back and watch the game, you can see they're hovering around some of those.
Well, that
guys
particular
that-
play though, that linebacker took 2 steps to the right when Burks made his
Yeah.
cut. You throw it though, like this is the deal. He didn't throw it then because he has to see the guy make his cut and turn 180,
The thing we criticize.
and then
Gabriel,
there's my guy, and throw it.
doesn't throw a guy open.
Other quarterbacks throw that before he's turning.
And there's the ball. The other thing that I'm going to go back and criticize again is the lack of, it's not just a lack of creativity, it's a lack of thinking in the route design.
The
Where
route
everybody's running the same route.
we've talked about it, the trees, the
It's
route
so
trees, and the
stupid.
layering.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't even know what's going on.
The 4 hitches.
It's like a child drew it up. It's so weird.
There's it so goes against scheming someone open, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's almost like I'm gonna give you 4 hitches, and then you try and find the one that's gonna be open.
Yeah.
Like, no,
You're not
run these
challenging
2
the
guys
defense.
deep and run this guy on a hitch.
You
Like,
gotta
take these
get
players away from
get
somebody.
one of those defensive backs to make a mistake.
Yeah.
No one's making a mistake when they're backpedaling and running forward. No one is.
Yeah, and 4 hitches.
The guy's right there. He's
Yeah.
like, well, I see him the whole way. I have no decision
Unless you
making
do some
here.
stop and goes with some pump fakes,
Yeah.
but he usually
That
doesn't
would
have
be
time to
something.
make that happen.
Yeah, and I don't think
'Cause
we're
those
I
take
don't think we're a
longer to
couple
develop.
seconds of blocking away from stop and goes. I think we're a lack of goes. I don't think there's
Yeah,
any
I
goes
agree.
in the tree.
We may just get eaten alive up front though this weekend. Like
It may be ugly.
it may
What was
be.
this
They're
D-line better than
not,
South
yeah, they're not
Carolina?
as good as
No.
South Carolina
or
even
Ole
Tennessee.
Miss. Or Ole
Or
Miss.
Or Tennessee?
It
So
depends
we
on how
might,
many
we
You're
might
still-
only
you're
give
still
up
top
like
15
we might
defense.
only give up like 6 cents.
We only got sacked.
That'd be a good prop bet.
Did Missouri only get once? I think they only had 1 sack.
Yeah, they didn't have to. We gave them the ball.
Why do you need to sack him when we're
Yeah, why would they
fumbling the
sack a
ball
guy
on
who
the
doesn't have the
field?
ball anymore?
Well, the last play of the game was.
Yeah.
I don't know if it
I think
counts.
there
You
was-
take off running.
I think there
Does
was
it?
3 or 4.
Right, I don't
I
know.
don't think it does in the NFL. I think it does in college.
It does in college because we talked
Stupid.
about that when they had the 10
really
sacks. It
stupid.
really should have
Yeah.
been 6.
Right, right.
Because they
that's right.
counted quarterback draws and stuff like that.
Well, I don't know.
I never noticed till this season, and really till 10 minutes ago when I was thinking about it. My disdain for fumbles versus interception.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Like that for some
You're
reason,
catching on to that problem? Oh, yeah.
as bad as interceptions are, at least they're 30 yards down the field, 20 yards
Exactly.
down
Yeah,
the field,
yeah.
not right here,
Unless you're Landry Jones.
10 yards
they're-
back
yeah.
in the
Yes,
pocket.
exactly.
Ugh.
No,
And there's a better chance that if a ball gets tipped, that your guy can recover the tip just as easy as they can intercept it. I mean,
right.
how many interceptions did we drop, 5
Oh,
years
yeah.
ago?
Oh,
It,
yeah.
it was 3 a game, it felt like.
Uh-huh.
But a fumble, even if you recover, you're gaining a couple of
It's
yards.
degrees of losing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're losing 15.
Which, speaking of interceptions, like I just want our defense to get interceptions.
Yes.
Like, do we not do that anymore?
So that's something very interesting on the stats. So you guys are probably aware of this, but we on the season are at -1 net turnovers.
Wow.
And I don't mean on average. I think it's right at
Yeah.
for the total. Their total is 13 for Alabama, positive. So not
It's not
tremendous,
defense's fault.
but that's one a game versus basically flat. No, it's
We're not
not
creating
probably our
turnovers, though.
defense's fault, except
We led
yeah,
the
we're
country in turnover ratio the first 4 games.
We're
gonna
we're
be-
not producing a lot, but the ratio wouldn't be nearly
No.
as bad.
no, it's all offense. It's
Right,
offense
yeah.
giving the ball back to them. Yeah, and that's what goes back to that stat of every time we get a turnover, we turn right around and give them
Yeah.
the turnover or they score.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You can't do that. But it is something that if we could get that to roll back in our favor, if the ball will bounce our way, the way it did bounce our way, and some of that was us creating it, some of that was luck. If we could get the next 2 games to look like those first couple of games or 4 games, that are actually 3 games, it would look tremendously different to our chances of victory.
There's
I mean, this is-
where the ball's gonna bounce on this field.
Right.
This is
If it
hilarious.
even
It's
bounces.
so poorly kept.
Ugh,
It's hilarious to look at.
that'll be
'cause
interesting to see.
It feels so much worse than this. But Jackson Arnold has 12 touchdown passes and 3 picks.
And 6 fumbles. Given up, not just fumbles.
Lost fumbles, I think 4.
That doesn't it?
I'll have to go to a different site to find that.
Feels like
It does feel like more. You're probably right. It feels like a lot.
But I mean, that's like
They're so critical too.
the 12,
So
the
the
12 should be over
1,200
20.
yards in the 12
Yeah.
this late in the season are
Uh-huh.
absurd. But the 3, he's not being willy-nilly with the ball.
No, it's the same problem from that standpoint.
He's
as we
thrown-
had with Gabriel.
He's thrown 214 passes and has 3 picks.
well, the one
That's really
the
good.
one pick against Tulane was him being willing and
Yes.
not looking at
Well, that was a blitzer right in
I
his
would
face.
love
yeah.
to see his
QBR.
no the grid
Oh,
and
yeah.
how many
I mean, he
of those
basically
214,
has
how many are in that flat and how many are in that shallow
he
zone?
essentially has 70 passes per interception, which
So he needs to throw the ball more.
in any other season,
Yeah.
that's a phenomenal
That's-
number.
That tells you to throw
Like
the
that's
ball
like a
more.
record-breaking.
You're doing something
number.
wrong
If you're throwing-
that bad at quarterback and your ratio.
Yeah.
But you're also
is
not throwing
that
it further
good.
than 10 yards.
Right.
Well, that's part of it.
Yeah, that's part of
That's
it.
part of the problem.
And he doesn't throw it unless they're open,
Uh-huh.
completely open.
Yeah. After he got burned by, I mean, that goes back to quarterback coach. That goes back to maybe receivers coach. When you look back at the Tennessee game, and wasn't there the Burks interception in the Tennessee game wasn't the first time that happened. Didn't that happen against Tulane?
I don't think it was against Tulane. It was against one of those. He just chunked it up downfield.
Yeah.
And we ran.
And ran wrong. Like
Yeah.
somebody
I
is
can
not
think of
coaching that
I can
right.
think of 2 of the 3 picks.
And that should
Tennessee,
scare
he
him
got-
off.
He got hit at the Tennessee one, and it fluttered like in the middle of the field. He was throwing to the sideline.
No. We threw to Burks and Burks went over instead of going under. And we all got excited because he was throwing to a wide open, I think Reagan's.
No,
He
that was
streaking down the
that
sideline.
was Houston.
Yeah, Houston.
He
When he
did that
just
against
chunked it like
Houston. Was
down
Houston.
the field, like
Yeah,
in the middle of
and
the
Wasn't
field.
that Tennessee too?
Yeah.
No.
Same thing?
Tennessee
Tennessee was towards the
Tennessee one
sideline.
was he rolled out to the left, had the whole field,
Okay.
and threw it to a guy super confidently that was not open
Triple
whatsoever.
cover. Triple
Right.
cover.
Yes,
then the-
yes.
And then the
yes.
Tulane
I
and then the
remember that.
Tulane pick
So
six
it was
to
Houston. I
line.
was thinking of the earlier game when
Yeah.
he does that.
Yeah.
And like he's burnt from that point forward on throw. Now,
Post. You can-
is it just a lack of quarterback coach or is it also the receivers coach who didn't get that coached right? I mean, I don't want to try to deflect and redirect towards Emmett Jones,
And
but,
for what it's worth, Burke said that was his fault.
and he knew it was his
Yeah, I
fault. Yeah.
remember
But who knows? Maybe it was Arnold.
that was going.
It
towards
does
the
look
top
like
of the zone.
Burks.
Yep.
Because he threw it pretty early. He did actually throw that
Oh, yeah.
one early,
No, he
and
did.
Burks did
He
just
did.
take a terrible.
Now he
angle.
did have a wide open. I'm pretty sure it was Reagan's. It might have been Thompson streaking down the side that he just totally missed. But
Yeah, because I think there were 2 posts. Burks
no, there was.
did a post, and the other person did a corner route.
Oh yeah,
underneath
by
him,
the time
and
it was
that
corner, he
corner route was
open.
way
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
A lot of these we already know, but I'll just read them all. Gibson out, obviously. Anderson out. Anthony out. Gentry Williams out. Kendall Dolby out. Hatchett out. Jacob Sexton out. Jake Taylor out. Deion Burks doubtful. Javante Barnes questionable. Josh Bates questionable.
No Barnes.
Bama has 3 people out.
He said
total on the whole
doubtful.
team.
Doubtful.
So
No, Barnes is questionable. Burks is doubtful. Alabama
Farouk's
has a
playing-
DB, a wide receiver, and a linebacker.
So Farouk and Sawchuck are playing. And the right tackle, Tarquin.
Tarkin.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brown. Tarkin's out there.
Well, that's the story of our season,
Who's
right?
playing left tackle?
The same kid for the last two games.
Brown?
No,
No.
Left tackle.
begins with a T, doesn't it?
We're really on top of our game right now.
Yeah, really. That's we're very fitting for the OU Sooners 2024. I don't know. It's going to be a real challenge regardless, but that all in all, that's
Allen,
Yes,
talent. Yeah,
which he actually was improved.
he's improving.
he's improved.
He's the one that had.
The bad first.
They said
step.
the bad first step, and then
Yeah.
and then Gabe said the next game he
said
was
the last 2
corrected.
games he's got to fix.
And then Missouri, our rushes to the left side
Mhm.
were
We're
by
strong.
far our best rushes
Yeah.
versus to the right.
Oh yeah,
So is Birch just heavily concussed?
Probably.
Yeah, the guy took his head off. There was no.
No, I know
Yeah,
that. Trust
that's
me, I know.
so
He clearly hit him with his helmet.
so frustrating.
If this part of your helmet for the YouTube audience doesn't count as targeting because it's not square in the crown, if it's 6 inches to the left, but it's still helmet to helmet, it's not targeting, then they need to fix that.
Is that the
Oh,
justification they came out with?
No, I don't think they gave anything, did they?
They said since it wasn't the crown of the helmet, it wasn't.
Oh, that's awful.
But
That's
he-
awful.
But he hit him with,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
It was
head to head.
helmet to
It's
helmet.
head to head.
it's clear helmet to helmet.
And it's nearly
And he
launching.
launched.
Yeah.
No, not nearly, he launched.
Yeah.
But I also heard someone say he wasn't a defensive player.
But you can't launch into somebody, period.
I don't know. Everyone's just
Making
so up in the
excuses.
air with the rules. It's
To me, the way they've defined that has given them where it's pretty clear cut. They've actually done a good job in the rule book and the definitions. They just need to enforce it.
They need to enforce it. They need to have
Yeah.
guys who understand and can
Yep.
enforce it. Exactly.
It's very frustrating. And it's frustrating when it's your player that's getting hit, but it's frustrating for the game in general. And just
That's a big
the
impact on this week as well.
inconsistency. Yeah,
Like it's
absolutely.
huge. I mean,
Very, very frustrating. So let's transition to talk about the OC search.
It's also frustrating that Nico for Tennessee can get a concussion in the second half of their game, and he makes it back in a week to play last week.
Yeah,
And our guy has a concussion 2 weeks out with a
yeah, I had the bye week.
Not all concussions are made
yeah.
equal.
Ours aren't for sure.
Yeah.
How does that game end differently if they call that? Because then
We need one play for field goal range. That's it.
Yeah. we need
Yeah.
to get 15 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the next play, and then we're kicking a field goal.
Yep.
To win the game.
And we don't fumble.
Yeah.
Then we fumble the next play.
Yeah.
wait, that happened on the drive that Jackson fumbled.
Yeah.
I
that
thought
was
it was the
that was
final.
no, that was
last
the
drive.
game. That was the last drive of the game.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
no,
it was the last.
was the
last
play
drive of
before.
the game. So we needed,
It was the play before the fumble.
Yeah, it was a play before the game ending.
Yeah.
fumble.
I thought it was the last drive where we were trying to score with 30 seconds left.
yeah. I
Yeah,
did too.
that's
Yeah, that's
the
the drive.
fumble. That's when Jackson fumbled. They scooped and scored for the.
We had a minute
Oh.
7 left.
Oh, it's a tied game. Yeah. It's a tied
It
game.
happened when it was tied.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it happened
Yeah.
after they went ahead on that very last drive.
Pull,
That where we tried to.
pull that up, but I'm.
No, it's happened when we were tied. No, it happened with like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
after
30
30
seconds. It was
seconds.
after they.
Yeah.
Scored the
It's after
touchdown.
they
Yeah.
scored. Yeah, it's after they scored.
Okay,
Good job, Con.
sorry.
Well, let's
No, you're
transition to
good.
the OC search. Where are we, Jay? You've been keeping up with it, flying around the country, talking to these
Yeah,
guys.
I know it's been hard.
Phone is busy.
Coast to coast. Same old names that everyone else seems to
there's
throw
some
out.
new names.
There's some new names.
There's some no names.
Miami offensive coordinator, Georgia Tech offensive coordinator, Vanderbilt offensive
Are
coordinator,
supposedly
Pittsburgh offensive coordinator.
They're reaching out.
now
to
they're
us.
reaching out
Yes.
to us supposedly.
Yes.
Now, I got a question for you guys because we never got and we never will know for sure unless somebody knows somebody who knows somebody. Supposedly, when we were looking for a head coach after Lincoln left, Mike Tomlin reached out saying he wanted the job. Was that truth? Was that marketing? Is this truth? Is this marketing? to say it's a desirable job? Do we know? Or it could be in all cases, guys saying, yeah, I'm interested, wink, wink. I'm trying to negotiate a contract.
Yeah, I think there's no way of knowing. I mean,
Do you have a feel for
none of
it?
us are gonna know.
I would say it's, I mean, I bet that any rumor out there or any like remote or adjacent
Has
contact
a thread
to,
of truth to it.
yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like some representative of this guy reached out and like just, we had a 5 minute, 2 minute conversation. All of a sudden, this guy's interested in the job, and like you can
There's
spin
some-
that however you want.
Some
Right.
genuine interest of some
And that,
kind.
yeah, some people may be reaching out and saying like, no, like this is like, if
Some of
you-
these,
if you'll take a call, like we're very heavily interested.
if you kind of dive a little bit deeper into it, I can see some of the validity because maybe the Miami OC realizes, he's not going to have Cam Ward, and he has some other reasons this is a big time job.
And Mario
right?
Cristobal's an idiot.
Sure,
But
that
they
could be
have
a
Saunders
Straight
there.
dweeb.
true. You could say the same thing at Vanderbilt, right?
Yeah.
Diego Pavia is not going to be there. He probably knows what's behind him and what the future of Vanderbilt looks like, and this is as good as he's going to look as the OC at Vanderbilt
He
is
does-
right now.
Does he not think that he follows wherever?
Pavia's done.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Diego Pavia's done.
Yeah,
Unless
he-
he wins
yeah,
some
he was drafted.
injunction.
He's going. He's.
Oh no,
With the
I'm sorry. No,
NCAA.
no. I'm saying like
Oh, where the head coach
the head
goes?
coach.
Oh.
Yeah. Does he
Oh.
not think he follows the head coach
I
somewhere?
don't know. I haven't
did
paid
see-
I haven't paid that much of attention
maybe
to Vanderbilt's
he's
head
not.
coaching
Three
Maybe
situation.
he's
final of the country chases. rumors.
Yeah,
Well, I'm not chasing head coaches and their potential moves.
I did see Kevin Sperry followed Arbuckle on Instagram.
Yeah.
So that's
See, that's
a little
another-
interesting.
That's another one where an Arbuckle, that's a step up, right? So that makes sense.
Yeah.
That that's an attractive job. You could say the Miami job
Although they are the best team in the conference.
in general isn't necessarily a step up because of how Miami's doing this
Washington State.
season. But in general, it's a step up even from Miami. It's a step up from Georgia Tech. It's a step up from Vanderbilt. It's a step up
Oh,
from Pitt,
Tulane.
For sure.
Tulane, Washington State.
Being
So
a step up from Miami.
we haven't heard any rumors of like Chip Kelly being interested or
Right.
Well,
you
and like
know-
I don't think at this level. I mean, you're not going to hear. You're not going to.
Rumor of that,
It's
yeah.
all going to be a step up job, like because I don't. That's the thing too is Oklahoma blue blood, but right now where we're at in the landscape, like moving from OC at OU to moving to OC at Ohio State, that's the step up at this point. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's where we're at. So you're gonna have to get back to the hey, we need to find this diamond in the rough type of thing. And some aren't just in the rough, but you're gonna have to go get a guy who hasn't done a lot at the D1 level or at the
So
Power 5 level and
I
make
think
it
you're
work.
right. Look at Chip Kelly though, and he all but got fired at UCLA. Right, that was just a failure, and I don't think there's any reason to believe that could have succeeded because it's
well, and he
UCLA.
hated the process, right?
everything was bad at
There could be
UCLA,
another
right?
head coach out there
So
that we haven't heard from
right,
that is also
That's what I'm
just
saying.
sick of
That's what I'm
being a
saying.
head coach of
Exactly.
football right now.
could be sick of being a head coach.
Yeah.
It could be in a bad situation. So if we
Maybe
go
look
get
at
that
that.
guy, we need to be careful not to. The same way that I look, I mean, maybe you feel differently, but I look at the Chip Kelly as like they landed a big hire.
That's huge.
I thought it
when
was
they got
huge.
there.
That's huge.
Massively.
So if we get that guy, we need to think about it the same way and not think, oh, we just got a washed up guy who couldn't make it and he hasn't been successful as a head coach for 3 different jobs.
Well, and that's why,
Dane Algerson, exactly.
or Mullen, like Dan Mullen.
That's
as well.
how I
Dan
felt about
Mullen.
Mullen.
I mean, and that's the thing. So,
Mullen was my Chip Kelly, basically.
and I would love that. I mean, if you can go find a guy like that, that's the only thing about like, for example, Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly has an incredible track record outside of what he did in Philadelphia and at UCLA.
Oregon.
Like his time at Oregon,
Yeah.
revolutionizing what they did and revolutionizing college football to an extent. Like proven record, also with where college football's at, amazing coordinator type of coach. Like a guy that doesn't want to be fully enthralled in all of the NIL and everything else. Being able to say, screw UCLA, screw being a head coach. Like, I think it's like you said, like Chip Kelly knew he was in a bad situation, didn't want to be where he's at. Like, I want to go find somewhere where I can kind of just lay low and do my thing. And Same thing, kind of what Gary Patterson did when he went to Texas and then stuff like that. So I don't know any head coaches like that right now. Like you
I'll
said,
give you
maybe
one.
there's-
And I'm going to say this not in jest to say, is there someone else like this? Because obviously this one doesn't work. But Lincoln Riley.
Well, that's yeah, that's
Is there,
exactly what I said.
is there
like,
another Lincoln Riley out
Right.
there that's not Lincoln Riley? I don't know who that would be off the top of my head.
And we might look too narrowly to at just college.
That's a good
I
point.
don't know if there are
It's a good point.
NFL OCs or
or
you see-
QB
you see-
coaches.
yeah, you
or
see
anything
other-
like that.
you
Ryan
see-
Day went from a QB coach to an offensive coordinator,
Yeah.
an NFL QB coach to being an offensive coordinator at Ohio State.
What's your favorite OC right now in the NFL that had success in college?
Well,
Whose
Tony-
mascot was a
Cliff
tiger?
Kingsbury.
Brady.
Oh,
Yeah,
Joe Brady.
Joe Brady.
Joe Brady.
where,
Yeah,
yeah.
of course, yeah. In the
No idea.
he's in
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yeah, he's Buffalo. He's not.
He ain't leaving.
He's not leaving Buffalo.
I'm just saying. It's that kind of
That kind
like
of a guy.
I personally haven't delved that deep into like,
Well, go get. I mean, and they're doing quote unquote well, but where's Zach Robinson's at the Falcons, right? I think
That sounds right.
so. I mean, I don't
Well,
know
what if he gets
I don't know
fired
what
from the
I don't
Bengals?
know what the Falcons are doing.
He wants to
but-
come home.
Zach Taylor.
Well, not just that. Back to the idea of a quarterback coach or someone else.
Come live back at home, Zach Taylor. Okay.
Yeah, but
He also-
you didn't want him when he was in high school, so you may have a grudge.
Go find someone who isn't an OC somewhere, but is very promising, got a great mind to now. How different is a quarterback coach who's successful in the NFL, the quarterback coach, and the equivalent of Lincoln Riley at East Carolina? Hopefully he's a diamond in the rough and not just a flash in the pan. That's tough.
Think about
both
those
ways.
Washington Redskin teams that had McVay and Gruden and there's literally like seven
Shanahan,
guys
put Shanahan on there.
Shanahan.
Yeah.
that are off
Yeah.
that are head coaches in the NFL now,
From
I
the,
think
but
the
they were
Dolphins
position
coach as well.
coaches
Yeah.
there.
and was
What-
that under Gibbs or was that after Gibbs?
Can't remember.
And he has a hell of a coaching tree.
I don't remember if it was when Gibbs came back or not.
Must have been the early,
It
late aughts, early tens.
was when they drafted Robert Griffin. All these
Right
guys
at
on
the
the
end of
staff.
that. Yep.
But what if at that point you get the guy that's the wide receivers coach of that group, like
Yeah.
Shanahan or whatever,
Yeah.
and say, I know you're an NFL guy and you're a wide receivers coach, but you don't have the opportunity to be an OC anywhere yet. Come to Oklahoma, be the OC,
Build
Give
your
it
and
resume.
then
2
2
years.
years, and then you're going to go NFL OC job.
Yeah.
I mean, Kingsbury's done that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's at Washington.
Yep.
What about
And-
Kingsbury?
And he went and, I mean, why would you leave Washington OC?
He's killing it. Yeah.
Cost of living.
Yes, exactly. The DC
He's-
traffic
He's got
sucks.
enough money when he left Tech that he doesn't need any more money.
I think, but that's what I'm a little concerned about as well. And I feel like it's what we did last season when we were promoting
I
Luttrell.
feel like we're looking harder,
No, I'm not,
unfortunately, now than
I'm
last
not
year.
worried about that. I think we're looking hard, but I also don't want to just jump on the first thing that walks through the door either.
And I hope they're not. I bet.
I don't think there's.
I don't get the feeling they.
I don't
are.
think there's been any offers officially,
I don't feel
regardless
like
of what some.
From-
I
all
saw
the
one got
names-
extended to Mullen. That's what I read.
from that there was.
That Mullen was
Yeah, I
has
heard
been the only
Legitimate
candidate
Legitimate
that we've
offer.
extended a legitimate offer.
But he's shot it down. So
And to be substantially, it's a substantial offer that would by far make him the highest paid offensive
But he
coordinator.
wants to be a head coach. He's got his agent apparently looking at head coaching.
That could still work.
I mean,
That
I
could
think
still-
if
that could-
you-
that sounds like negotiation.
I think
It
if
might
you
be,
really
I might
wanted
be
him,
all smoke and mirrors right now. Like
Yeah.
I would appreciate
not,
that.
not just that, from the standpoint of if I'm a really calculating Joe C, which I don't know if that guy actually exists, but if he is, he may be saying this works out good so that the fan base feels like, oh, this is a guy we want to get. The one that got away, and it's the girl that says no, and you keep pursuing her. So I could see that where a lot of fans are not going to know. Well, a lot of fans are not going to know who Mullen is, and a lot of them are not going to know who do know who he is, why you might be really attracted to that. And so you start to say, no, this is a guy you really need to be interested in. We're really interested. Why did he say no to us? I don't know. It could be a play.
Well,
that
and I
works
want
both
something like
ways.
that. I want something where you're getting guys, and I know everyone says this at the end of the day, but you want legitimate contenders to say, I'm gonna come be an OC, but I want to be a head coach.
Oh, yeah,
And like
absolutely.
you want that to be the revolving door of successes year
Yes.
in and year out, or
Nick Saban.
every 2 years, or whatever it takes to say like we just breed good offensive coordinators at this point.
I mean, Bob Stoops in the early 2000s
Right.
through the, with
I think Dan Mullen has
Almost
too
no
big of an
exceptions.
ego to be an OC, no matter how big the college is.
He might.
I don't.
he
He was
might-
head coach
he
of
might.
Mississippi State. He's head coach of Florida. He's done TV since. I think his ego is too big.
Here's
to
what I
be
don't
a lowly
understand
OC.
about Dan Mullen.
What was he head coach at Florida just for 2 years though? I mean,
Oh,
There's
he
probably a couple more than that.
I think he was there like 4.
was he there 4? I mean, that wasn't exactly like
They hated him.
tremendous run either.
They,
so,
like I ended really poorly.
yeah.
But what I don't get about him, if is you're only a couple years removed, but you are a couple of years removed of being a head coach. And I
Yeah.
think he's a little bit too big-headed, thinking that
Sure.
a pretty nice to a medium to good job is just going to take you a couple of years removed
Right. I agree.
to be the head coach.
Yeah.
And there's not even hardly, this is like by far the least amount of openings
Yeah.
I can possibly remember.
Yeah, there's not very many
And do
people
you
getting.
I don't
foresee
know.
much more.
I can't
I don't foresee much
As
more
far as
happening.
coordinator jobs or head coach.
head coaching.
Head coaching
I mean,
job.
no one.
Power 4 school. I
Florida.
don't know.
I mean,
What's Napier's
and you say
buyout?
No,
Power
no,
four
no,
school.
no. Napier.
Who
They came out and
cares?
said Napier safe.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Who
they
cares
did.
about the bottom third? It's Power 4, and who do you really want to be the coach at even West Virginia and Arizona,
Yeah,
Vanderbilt?
I mean,
No.
maybe.
West Virginia might open up, but Dan Mullen's not gonna go to West Virginia.
Yeah,
Oklahoma State.
that's
might
not
open up.
attractive.
He's not gonna go there either.
I'm just
I
saying.
don't think.
And that's not, to me, that's not a very attractive job.
There's no SEC job that looks like it's coming open.
No.
Maybe Arkansas.
Maybe Vanderbilt,
Where's he gonna go?
if he lands somewhere.
Where?
Well, that's true.
Where's he gonna go?
It depends on that
Yeah.
open job we're talking
Michigan,
about not
maybe.
being open,
Yeah, I was
right?
thinking Michigan maybe.
Michigan
Michigan may.
may.
After one season?
They went from national championship to where they are now.
Yeah, but you can
They might make
accept
the move.
that.
Because he didn't get a huge buyout. They gave him like a trial run type of.
That's right.
contract.
That's right.
Mhm.
Probably like a 3-year, $7 million a year.
It may
Now,
come down
it
to
would-
what happens in the game.
It would only take a Michigan style job to create a domino that did open up spots.
Yes.
But as of right
But
now,
it's only one at a time, right? I mean,
no, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
this moves, this moves, this
but again,
person.
where are you if you're Dan Mullen? Where are you in that hierarchy? You're probably not getting the Michigan job. You're third removed.
Yes.
How different is that than OC at
Is there
Oklahoma?
any NFL team that goes after like a Dan Lanning or something like that though? Because
People have talked about that.
That could be.
that would be a huge
Huge.
chain reaction
Yes.
Yes.
of
Yes.
Oregon opens, so Vandy guy goes to Oregon, somebody or whatever, and you
Oh,
end up
yeah.
having
Yeah.
Oregon and Michigan open, and then Vandy's open.
Yeah.
I mean,
We've seen years where it's nobody and then a bunch. I mean, Franklin, he's so mediocre, and yet they're doing so well, and they're going to make the playoff. It looks like that's such a joke. That's just like anyone who thinks they might want to be in Happy Valley just bide their time. It's going to be open. He's not going to make it. So if you're thinking 1 or 2 years ahead, you're a guy who can wait. You might wait.
I mean, there's gonna be some NFL jobs open for sure.
Yeah, there's always
The Bears.
several of
job,
those.
They may, like Dan Lanning's our guy. Bam, Oregon's open. And then, I mean, who knows at that point?
Yeah,
There's-
that's the only way there's multiple changes.
There's
is
no way
here
they get rid of
is a blue blood
eat that buyout.
opens and it's a domino.
It
Yeah.
doesn't look.
That's
like
it. It doesn't seem like it.
So
Dallas Cowboy job. maybe.
It looked like there was a
Dude.
chance that you would have
Like
like
a
a Florida and a Florida State,
Dion.
right? That would create a
I
lot of
don't,
shifts.
I don't think either of them.
and
are
neither
gonna be
one's
open.
gonna happen,
Yeah.
right?
Is Dion in line for the next big job?
Dallas Cowboys.
Good luck to
That
anybody
But
who
again,
does that.
but
That
no
would
one's gonna
be
take all.
easy.
No
That
one.
would be so
Then
on.
Nolan goes cover.
That would be so
No.
on brand.
It would be so.
No one that takes, but no one that. No one's gonna take over Colorado and do what Dion's doing.
No.
Colorado's gonna go
No.
right back to being
No.
nothing
Yes.
as soon as he leaves.
Colorado
Colorado
might
County
go back to that.
Colorado,
Yeah.
Colorado might be nothing right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
and
yeah.
let's be honest.
But I'm just saying, like it's
Yeah.
what they've got going for them right now is strictly the Dion
Now, the only thing they do have in their
effect, whether
favor,
it's real or not real.
if you're looking at it from the standpoint of, wow, he's built a lot of atmosphere, I can go capitalize that, and I'm in the Big 12. where I don't have to be that great and I'm making the conference title.
But he hasn't built anything foundational, is the deal.
Probably
like
not,
the
except there's a fan
whole-
base.
No, I mean like team wise.
Oh,
Like
no.
like
So you
every
gotta build from the ground up.
no, but I mean every player at Colorado literally
Right.
is there for Deion Sanders.
Right.
Like it's not for any other reason.
Now, if he goes to the NFL,
and it's not sustainable.
you won't lose those guys, but you may not even want to keep them, to be honest. I mean,
Oh, I think all those people leave.
all of them?
Yeah.
Who is all of them?
He brought in like 70 the first season.
I'm saying there's 3 players at Colorado.
I'm just saying
And
they're
2
all,
of them are going pro.
I'm just saying they'll all leave.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm saying it doesn't matter if they leave because they suck.
Is Norvell got a vote of confidence for next year? Is Florida State come open?
No,
Florida State's his buyout's insane.
Florida State's good to go. Florida's good to go.
Yeah, I think those-
Miami's
both of those
good.
stay.
I
He
mean,
signed
you
a
look at the
huge
other ones.
extension
What about Brian Kelly? He's been a severe disappointment.
Yeah, that could be a big one.
That'd be
That could
a
open,
huge
He's been a
step.
roller
especially if he
coaster.
loses to us.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster. We could be the one who pushes him out.
Yes, absolutely.
Would that
Because
be-
that just
his
didn't.
buyout's huge.
Because
too.
that just didn't fit.
Yeah, it is.
at
Yeah,
all.
they throw money like it's going.
That initial hire made no sense.
Well,
I
if they're
think they
gonna
use
throw,
French
if they're gonna
currency
throw,
during
Now,
spring,
These fans,
so it doesn't
if they're
matter.
Dan
gonna throw
Mullen.
money at Baton
Yeah,
Rouge,
Hey, that job for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, true.
as the
Yes.
head coach of LSU,
Dan Mullen absolutely would take
Really?
that job.
maybe that's what he's counting.
Really? Why do you say that so certain?
It's freaking LSU, man.
I mean, that's a
I
top,
mean-
that's a top 10.
Yes, top 10 job.
And Oregon's not?
Well, you didn't say they're battling between Oregon and LSU. We're just saying if LSU were to
Oh,
open.
you said Dan Manning, Dan
Mullen.
Mullen. I
Dan
thought you
Mullen.
said.
Oh, not Dan Lanning.
Manning.
No, no,
Oh,
Dan Mullen.
okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no, yes,
Yes.
no, yeah, definitely. Okay,
And
that's
Mullen's
why.
a Southeastern Conference.
Okay,
guy.
you
Yeah.
get why I'm thrown.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, no,
Dan Mullen could take that job
Yeah.
if it was available.
Most people
if
would.
he was offered
Yeah.
that job. Yes, absolutely. I mean,
I mean, there's probably 5 coaches out there that wouldn't take that job.
I mean, Lincoln Riley was gonna take that job until USC, until USC.
Yeah.
Such a bitch.
yeah.
He
Dan,
didn't,
can you
he
imagine
didn't want to play in
having
this conference.
we would have played Lincoln this year if he takes the LSU job?
Oh,
How crazy
man.
that game
And
would
he'd be
been?
doing just fine because Caleb would have gone to LSU also. And they'd
Yeah,
have been
They'd actually maybe doing better.
just fine.
They may have won some stuff.
Yes.
What about Jalen Daniels?
I don't know. They may not have. They would have had Grinch.
Was he there already?
They might have had a much bad.
I bet that was a transfer about the same time.
They might have won
Yeah,
3
that's probably
games
true.
their first year.
That's true.
I don't know. Caleb or no Caleb, they might have really struggled that first year.
I mean, they had athletes.
Yeah.
Better than USC.
True, they had athletes, but did they have
They
that?
won 10
did
games
they
with
have-
Caleb with no athletes.
But and no competition.
If he went, yeah, that's true. He probably went 8-4 to LSU's first year or something like that.
I don't know. I don't
Well, they
imagine
go-
that defense
well,
would be
they-
very
He would have
good.
had Caleb Williams. Who was the kid that got drafted by the Giants? The wide receiver.
Why'd you have to ask me? Spot.
I'm just thinking how bad.
You
their
would have had
defense
Caleb
might
going to
have
that
been.
kid at LSU for 2 seasons, okay?
What is his name?
Start
Oh,
with an N?
no,
Start with an M.
In or M? Yeah.
Who are you talking
I
about?
don't know.
We're just spot on
The
tonight,
LSU wide
fellas.
receiver that went in.
Oh,
The
yeah,
one to
yeah,
the
yeah.
Giants.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of it.
Anyways.
I think it,
I don't know.
what did Brian Kelly go his first year at LSU? I mean, they didn't
Malik Neighbors.
Malik
they didn't have a
Neighbors.
nice, they didn't lose.
It was him and an
But-
N.
But he had a competent defensive coordinator. That'd been a big
They may not have
difference.
taken Grinch.
Yeah. Grinch.
No, they wouldn't have let him bring Grinch
Yeah.
to LSU.
He
Nope.
wouldn't have made it through 2
Nope.
games. So last question on the OC, when do you think we'll know? And I know it's a little dependent on if the guy is currently in a job or not.
Here's something
Blah, blah,
I don't like. I know why he said it, but I still don't necessarily
You know
understand.
what I don't like when I ask a question and you deflect?
Yes. No. So Venables said, out of respect for, them and continuing with their team and not wanting to interfere. No. That's not how this works.
Absolutely.
Your guy, if he's your guy, he can take it right now.
Right.
And it's
Stick
just
around.
out in the universe that
Yep.
he's taking it
Exactly.
and continue to
And has
coach your
happened
team.
quite a few times.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
happened 1,000 times.
Well, I mean, did it not happen with us in the
Levy.
2003 season
No.
with I know he didn't coach the defensive coordinator.
Mike. Mike took the Arizona job and didn't coach the bowl game.
Didn't
Yeah,
coach the
yeah,
national
yeah.
championship game.
But he,
He coached the Big 12 title, but
Yeah.
Arizona didn't. He was on the sidelines
Yeah, but that changed.
but I'm saying,
For the
didn't he
Sugar
know,
Bowl,
didn't,
he did.
hadn't he already taken the job
at Arizona.
and he coached the game?
No, he didn't.
He didn't coach
He
the
didn't.
national
He was
championship.
on the sidelines.
No,
Brent coaching.
but that's changed recently, like in the last decade, where a coach
Oh, yeah, I know.
accepts a position but stays on and does double duties. They're exhausted
Mhm.
and they're pulled between two places because your team's now in the playoffs. But you can't afford. Here's the deal: you cannot afford to go. Let's just say the Indiana OC Shanahan, all right, wants the job, but he can't quote accept it,
Right.
and we can't announce it, and Indiana makes some run into the playoffs. You can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Oh, you got signing day.
Yeah. So
Well,
the timeline
yeah.
is the December 4th is signing day.
Is that early?
Yes. So
Before the championship games?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
December 4th is signing day and the portal opens on the 9th. But there is some sort of I can't just say, "Hey Lucas, you're hired, sign here. Okay, you get to go talk to recruits." There's a process that has to go in.
Right.
I don't know how long that is, 2 days, 3 days. So if the kids are signing on the Tuesday following your last game on Saturday of the regular season, as long as there's not a business hours timeline on it, like if they can work on it on Sunday and you come Monday morning,
Right.
you can start talking to high school kids. That is still, for me, way too close.
Yeah.
The kids are 24 hours away from signing with you,
Yeah.
and then this is the first time you can say, "Hi, my name's Jay. This is what we're gonna do with the offense. You want to stick with us?"
Yeah.
Like, so to me, I think it has to be named next week.
So is that your prediction?
Before the LSU game,
Yeah, I think you have to announce it.
That's your prediction.
I think it's the third. I think it's December 1st, which is the Sunday after the LSU game.
But they can't
The
even
signing date's on a
talk to
Wednesday.
okay, but they can't even talk to anybody yet. There's a couple of days.
Yeah, but Venables can still say, "Hey, this is our OC. Here's what he's looking to do. He runs the West Coast office. No, he runs the."
So let's
I still
so-
think you have to talk with every single player on that side of the football that you're going to be the coach of.
So
You've got
let's
to talk
make
to them,
November
their
30th
parents.
the
their
over
everything.
under. You say under?
Oh, it's after me.
You say yeah, you say over.
It's going to be after, unfortunately.
So he says over.
He says over.
I
I say
say
over as well.
I say over as well.
It needs to
like-
be next week, and there's no reason it can't be next week.
But what sucks is also like with this timeline and stuff, and I agree with pretty wholeheartedly with everything you're saying. At the same time, what we just talked about in terms of like the search and everything else, it rules out so many of the things that we just spoke about there. Like, you're not gonna go find some NFL OC or NFL coach.
You're not gonna get an NFL OC no matter what.
Well, okay,
You
NFL
could get
QB,
an NFL tight end coach.
You think so?
Or something.
yeah, leave mid-season and
You might get it. You might get an OC who's not doing well. Or in a,
Somebody that's guaranteed to lose their job.
or not just either lose their job or
But you don't want that guy.
maybe not. I mean,
You don't want Jacksonville's OC. You don't
that
want
could be the Chip Kelly.
Tennessee Titans OC.
That
You
could be
don't
the
want
Chip Kelly.
The Bears OC.
Maybe not. That could be the Chip Kelly. But also, if you're in a tank season and things are going to change anyway, you're up in the air. That could open up an opportunity for you to come. I mean,
I wish it was sooner rather than later, mostly because I'm selfish and I don't want to wait. I just want to know so we can move
well,
on.
you want us to do everything.
And
Jay
I
was
want to
saying.
do everything that Jay said. I want to give some players the Fasusis of the world, the confidence that they need, the wide receiver class that we have coming in, the confidence they need, the players that are currently on the team, some confidence as we finish off the season.
If there is a waiting period like Jay's suggesting, there's a way around that. And that's you sign the guy Wednesday of next week, but you announce him Sunday. He's already done his 3 days of not being able to talk to kids, blah, blah, blah. But it
Yeah,
comes
maybe
out
so.
on Sunday and he's already in the houses of kids.
Maybe so.
I think
Right
we
away.
have.
You
I
just
think
have to, I don't know how you keep it quiet.
I think we have our guy.
Because
I think
the
we
league
know
will
who it
come
could
and there'll be Freedom of
You
Information
think we
Act guys
do
signing.
know or will know?
I don't think we,
No,
I
I'm
think,
saying the program.
I think the program knows who it is.
I don't think so.
I think we know.
I think they've got to narrow down to 5 guys maybe, but
They had a whole bye week to do it. I mean,
I would agree with
well,
Lucas.
Brent's had this stuff going on with his wife that he just
Yeah.
came out and he missed 2 or 3 press conferences last week
Mhm.
dealing with that. So I don't know that.
so what do you guys think if I said what percentage do you think that it's gonna be Arbuckle from Washington State? The things I've read, the things I've heard, the things
30%.
I've seen, you think 30%?
30%.
I was gonna say toss up like 50-50.
It
Wow.
does seem high. I agree. I'm not some football savant, so
Yes, you are. I've
can't
seen
do
your
that.
locks of the week.
We'll
True.
talk about it.
I can't. I don't initially like the style. I don't think it's
Not
fitting
what Lincoln ran.
fitting for where we're at. But I don't. But
mean,
maybe I'm just completely blind to
it
it.
may
Maybe
not
it's
be-
exactly what we need.
May not be complimentary football, but if it's the same style of Lincoln and
Yeah, all of it's a each guy has kind of put their own little flair on the air raid.
Yeah.
What I don't
this
like,
guy was a high school coach 4 years ago.
but what I don't like initially, just right off the get go, is the leading rusher for Washington State's our quarterback.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
That scares
Now
me.
it's not that you can't change that though.
Sure.
Like you
Yeah,
can
that may be
adapt
necessity.
that,
Well, with an air raid
Yeah.
offense, you definitely can change
but
it.
like
Yeah, athlete wise, they may not have a running back worth the crap out
Yeah.
there. We've got 3 of them.
And I think the only thing I'll say, like because Jay, my knee jerk reaction was the same as yours. Like I don't love it. Like it doesn't do a lot for me. But at the same time,
now if you have a Kyler Murray or you have a Jalen
Yeah.
and your quarterback's leading rusher and he's 1,000 yards. Okay.
okay, yeah, but yeah. But one thing I'll say like gives me a little bit of hope and confidence, and I know we sat and said some of his style or the way he goes about things isn't necessarily where it should be, but Britt talks about complimentary football almost every freaking press conference. So I have some hope that whoever he hires, that's going to be a main point of emphasis during the interview process to say, our defense is stacked. We have a system. We're freaking good. I need you to hold up your end of the deal and not be putting us back on the field every 2 minutes. Lucas, you sent or someone sent, or Jay, you sent it, and Lucas, you commented on it, Matt. OU's defended the most drives in college football this season, I think.
That's what Brent said.
So, I mean, you've got to think that's a very strong point of emphasis in this search. So, regardless if this guy runs a quick offense and anything else, there has to be some plan in place to say, stay on the field more, keep our defense off the field more, and
I mean,
let's make
we
this
talked
thing
about
work.
going to the season. If we can score 30 a game, we're going to go 10-2 because our defense is going to keep
Legitimate.
most teams under 30.
Oh, God.
We have
And the
it,
only
but
reason,
we're not scoring 20.
right,
So
and
we're
the only
losing
reason
way more
games have gotten out of hand is because our defense is on the field so much.
Yes.
Like the offense,
Or
the
the
offense
offense
has the
gave
ball
them-
all the
Or
time.
just short field.
Short field.
Short field.
So, or just touchdown.
And we've still got teams under 30,
yeah.
even with all the mistakes.
Well, even a bigger part of the complementary football is not just
Time of
necessarily time of
Right.
possession.
Is Texas the only
no,
game?
No, more than that. It's
Over 30?
34
Yeah.
there.
possession until Saturday.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. That's
Part of
crazy.
complementary football is we play in the SEC. Are you prepared can your offense succeed in the SEC against SEC defense? Both style as well as, more importantly, talent. So that's what scares me about anybody that is sort of like Seth Luttrell, who worked against defenses that weren't anywhere close to that caliber. You've got to have a game plan of how you're going to play in this level of football and against this level of talent. Complementary is one thing. We don't care. I mean, if it's Lincoln Riley and you say, well, I'm sorry, you're going to get the ball back with 2
Yeah.
minutes because I'm going to score every
Right.
time. He's not going to have a problem with that. He's going to have a problem with you can't run 2 minutes a clock and get 8 yards. And all of a sudden we're looking at having to defend yet again.
And that's the
That's the
thing,
problem.
unless you're Lincoln Riley, you can't go into a meeting as an OC or an interview and be like, I promise we're going to score a shit ton of points.
Immediately.
And you guys don't have to worry about a damn thing on defense, regardless of how long you're out there. So, yeah, and that actually is crazy. So, are you guys looking it up? Is that the only game we've given up 30 points?
I did not look it up,
Is
but I
Texas?
can't. I'm
I
really,
think that's correct.
Tennessee didn't.
And that's so
Auburn
actually-
didn't.
Ole Miss,
Ole Miss did not.
Missouri.
Missouri did not.
South Carolina scored 35.
Yeah,
Oh, they did?
Yeah, South Carolina, yeah. Well, they
Well,
scored
well,
We also
21.
gave
yeah.
them, we also gave them
Okay.
21.
Still,
was 26.
that's it, right?
Yeah, those two.
Missouri,
If you look
Missouri
at-
scored 30,
Yeah.
If you did,
but
if
that
you
was a
tried to go
defensive
back
touchdown
Yeah.
too.
and qualitatively try to do a true score points against our defense, we'd have the #1 defense in the country. No one has scored, well, like if you did it on points per yard or something and adjusted for starting position, there's no way anybody's had as good a defense as us.
So I don't, S&P Plus doesn't go that far into it. They just go how you performed versus who you played against.
Right.
I think our defense is 17th in the country. And to be 17th,
Yeah.
to have played the schedule we've played
And be 5
and
5.
have the offense that we have,
It's phenomenal.
it is phenomenal.
It's a massive, massive indictment on Brent, though. The offensive coordinator search last year, what a freaking joke. What a
It does
joke.
sound like it was a joke last year.
It's
That's
the,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
but how do we know what he did? He
There were no
contacted,
rumors last
he
year. though.
contacted Mullen. That's one, you'd think he just.
One guy.
They got to know and said, okay, Seth, it's your job. I don't think so.
That's
I
what
don't
it-
know.
That's what
I
it
think
sounds
maybe
like.
he talked to 3 or 4 guys and thought with Seth's record of good offenses, because we went over it, you know, his average offense was 28th or whatever over a 6 or
Yeah.
8 year span, that he talked to 3 or 4 guys and thought maybe he talked to some of those young guys that he didn't figure were ready.
I
And
don't
he's
know.
like, well, Seth can be our stopgap for a couple of years. And
Yeah,
then
how much of it was
Seattle-
them trying to keep
I'm really,
Jackson Arnold?
I'm really
How much
afraid.
of it was
Yeah,
You're right. Jackson Arnold might.
I
might
bet
have
it- I bet
hired
it
our
played a
offensive coordinator
large
last
Which
year.
is
role.
awful.
It
It's
really
horrible.
might
I
have.
mean, to me,
How did he get to spend much time with Seth?
I'm really concerned about Brent's ability to hire because he's had a lot of misses. And it's not just offensive coordinator,
No,
which has been, I would call 2 misses, but it's been throughout the offense and it's been with
Ted Roof on the
Ted
defense.
Roos. Just
I don't think that was a miss. I think he brought in Ted Root to do exactly what he wanted to.
what?
Act like he was a defensive coordinator while Brent is
Fill a
a
position.
while Brent
Yes.
is the defensive
Fill a
coordinator.
position?
I think he brought in a guy that
Well, it's dumb.
had
That's
been all
dumb.
over the place, that knew how he ran practices, knew how he wanted to set things up. And
That's
then
a waste
Brent-
of money
then
and a
Brent
waste of
calling
a
the
position.
It
defensive
is.
plays.
And
And they didn't hire,
it's-
they didn't use a position that they had, not just in having the roof, but they went empty with a position for a while.
Yeah. It's way too type A. Like Brent's complete neglect of everything outside the defense that first year. And I
And
understand
into
how
the second year.
I understand how necessary it was. Because like, I mean, he overhauled it. Like, we're great. We are what we are because of what he did the last 2 years. But you also sacrifice so much throughout the rest of the staff by doing that. Like, Ted Roof was just a face. Like, a face of saying, I am the DC. Brent Venables is the DC. He's not the head coach. Brent Venables doesn't know how to work a freaking like a clock or manage a clock to save his life still. And he's focusing on the defense when instead of honing in on his head coaching skills. Like, he's still behind the curve, in my opinion.
The other concern I have with Brent, and I'm a believer in Brent.
I am too.
I want to believe in
I
Brent.
want him
So
to
I'm a
take us
believer
where
and
we
I
wanna
want to,
go.
and I'm a motivated believer. But I don't know if he knows how to be that CEO who sees the entire picture and understands where he needs to plug things in and where he needs to have a role. I'll give you one other example that we've harped on. It's the NIL game that has seemingly had 2 different complete strategies to it, offense versus defense. And the idea that if the rumors are true, that Beanbo could say, no, we're not going to do NIL for those first 2 years. That's a colossal mistake. And we're living in that
We're
mistake
paying
right
for it.
now.
Yeah.
Just all of that concerns me. Now, maybe all that's been rectified. Maybe he's learned on the job and he's gotten past all that. I don't know. I want in an offensive coordinator, what I would like to see in the conversations and the interviews is somebody to say, you guys have done a lot of stuff wrong. Here's what I would do right, and this is wrong. I want someone hypercritical.
Mhm.
I want someone who's come in, and I don't mean in the public, but behind closed doors, I want them to say, this is all wrong. And this is how we run things. And this is what we do. And this is why you can have confidence in me because I see all these mistakes. Hopefully they get that guy, whoever they get, Arbuckle, whoever it happens to be. It concerns me with a guy like that, that's probably a Mullen probably comes in with that type of an attitude
And he's used to it.
and he's used to it.
This is a whole different ballgame coming from a freaking 2-team conference in the North Pacific Northwest to the second year in the SEC team, coming from the brink of their worst season in 30 years.
Walking into a blue blood in the toughest conference, it's tough. It's really tough.
Real quick, I know we're about to get some stuff. When do we see the Michael Fasusi decommitment tweet?
So he's going to Texas
Do
supposedly
we see it?
for sure. He's going for
Yeah.
sure.
He hasn't
Sure,
told
Saturday,
anybody
and
that.
then A&M.
He hasn't told anybody.
So he's trying to keep it on lock. I bet we see it Friday at around 6:30 p.m.
I bet we see it Sunday.
Are you
Sunday?
are you
Think it's
truly that
after?
confident that it's going to happen for sure?
I'm pretty confident. At this point, the way things are going,
It's just because this is how we lose 5 stars. This is when
this
we
is
lose.
what happens.
This is when we've lost all the
A&M
D tackles. Yeah, this
over
is
and over. It was the week before.
And
over and
like if he is actually going, I mean, again, it's
He's
not
gonna get
apples to
two-
apples.
He's gonna get 2 shots at seeing Texas if he goes this weekend, and then he goes to the A&M game next weekend.
Yeah.
He's gonna be around Texas twice.
So if he wants to hit up Austin
And if
again
you-
while he's there,
And if you tell me that you're recruiting a guy and he can come watch you play Alabama at home, or he can go on to another school and see him play Kentucky, and he's choosing to go see Texas and Kentucky and not Oklahoma.
He
Alabama.
wants to see the team he's going to beat get beat by Kentucky. I get it. I think it's beautiful.
I hope that's your lock of the week.
Yeah, I'm picking Kentucky straight up. Well, let's get to that, guys. Let's get to that and some other fun stuff. Let's start with some trivia. So I've got a pretty good trivia question for it. I think it's good. I don't know if you guys will know this or not. I didn't know it. It was a little surprising to me. So in 6 meetings against Alabama, in how many unique stadiums have Oklahoma and Alabama played? We played 6 times. We're 3-2-1 against them.
well, I know we've got a home and home.
Home and home, Sugar Bowl,
Orange Bowl.
Orange Bowl, and we play in Birmingham one
So
game.
it's got to be a trick question because you said
So
it's
5.
unique.
I'll say 5.
The first game, they had to go to a different stadium halfway through the game.
Yes.
So you say
Seriously?
5? No, that'd be awesome
I'm gonna
if
say
that was true.
The obvious answer is the obvious one's 4. It's not right, but I'll say
4, 5, 5, 6. OG Orange Bowl, very first meeting. Blue Bonnet Bowl in Houston, Norman, Tuscaloosa, Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, and the new Orange Bowl in Miami. So this will be the first repeat in the true same
I
stadium.
didn't think about us getting our butts
And we're
kicked
1-0
The Orange Bowl.
in the orange.
at this stadium.
The game actually.
That's right.
Ronaldo works.
Maybe we're gonna have some of that same kind of magic come through for us.
Did Jason White get hurt that game?
Yes.
That's where he tore his second ACL.
Yeah, that's right.
Who came in? So
In
But Hibble.
I guess Hibble came in. So he was in the backup that year.
2002.
So was it?
Hibble won the Sugar Bowl or the
Yeah.
Rose Bowl in 02.
Yeah.
So in 02, White goes to the west sideline, falls down, crumples essentially. I went downstairs for the Ronaldo works drop. No, I guess it was halftime. Went downstairs. My dad said he saw Switzer on his phone saying, "It's the other knee. He's done. It's the other knee."
That's
He tells me, "Did you hear Switzer?" Nope. Apparently Switzer Switzer knew.
Switzer do.
My dad tells me that. I was like, "Well, we're done.
still had a great year.
Now we're going to Hibble."
Yeah.
And then
Great
Ronaldo
year.
works on 2 screen passes.
Just
It was just
jumping
the
over
game.
guys. It's awesome. Awesome work. Awesome stuff. Hopefully that happens again. You know, we've had some magical, crazy games against them. Obviously, we went to Tuscaloosa.
Fake punt.
The fake punt turns it all around.
We were
Next
leading
play is a
at that point, too.
touchdown.
We're up by 3 points
Up by
on our
3.
own freaking 20-yard line.
Yeah.
Yep. Big game Bob calling the fake punt. Next play is a
Not a very good
strike
pass.
down
ball.
to, is it to Manny? Who is it to?
I just looked this up the other day.
It was a strike and it was
Yeah.
all over. I was at
I
that
don't
game.
think it was a strike.
beautiful.
Was it?
Yes, it was a
It
freaking.
was
Was
a
it?
it was a Jason White just
It was a
in
bomb.
the
Like, it
in
was
the
a-
Oh, no, I
pocket.
thought you were talking about the fake punt.
Oh.
No,
That
the
was
fake
not a
punt.
strike.
No,
That
the
was
fake
not-
punt had a Michael Thompson had to
Yeah,
wait on it.
yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
like, that was not a strike.
No, that was definitely not a
No,
strike.
the next play was.
Yeah,
Next play was a
awesome.
strike.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. So some very memorable games. Well, let's get to some predictions, and we'll start with, of course, the realist deal locks of the week.
The realest deal, locks of the week.
And the locks of the week are brought to us by 5 Star Concrete, David and Josh, a local business servicing the metro area. They do concrete, boys, from patios, sidewalks, driveways, shops, and more. Call them or text them 405-306-3014 or look them up on Facebook at 5 Star Concrete. You know, you can pour concrete any time of year. They put a little chemical in it even when it's frozen, and it will set up even in the coldest conditions. Those guys would know all about that. They can get it done for you. So let's give a little rundown of where we stand on locks of the week. And I remind everyone who doesn't know, the whole point of locks of the week are our listeners learn so much by listening to us. That's why they're really informed, smart
Listeners
people.
don't listen for listeners.
No, they listen to get the scoop, and they know what to do and how to pick. Our listeners, this is the highlight. They are 21 and 15, 58%. And that's even last week going 1 and 2. Way to go, listeners. On the other side of that would be, well, let's start with me. I'm 14 and 22, 39%. I was 1 and 2 last week. Connor, 15, 19 and 2, 44%. You were 1, 1 and 1 last week. You just couldn't make your mind
It's
up.
hard to
You
go.
wanted a little bit of everything, didn't you?
Thank you, James Madison.
Wow. Lucas, you're also 15, 19 and 2. You were 0 and 3. So you and Connor both are sitting at 44%. What's happening? Jay's a listener. Jay's not just a participant. He's a listener. He's 25 and 11. He was a pedestrian 2 and 1 last week. He's 69% on the season.
Damn right I am.
I'm so impressed. I'm just
Pretty
glad to
impressed,
know
too.
you. Could I get your autograph later? As a group, we're 69, 71 and 4, 49%. So
Oh.
we're below 500. But our listeners, they're winning. Way to go, listeners.
Can we mathematically
do better?
catch the listeners?
So we've got, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause we keep doing this all the
We're gonna
way.
rattle-
Okay, how about regular season? No?
Yeah. Well, I guess we
Yeah, we
could.
could.
We'd be 12 and 0.
We'd be 24 in it. If we go
Oh,
12
yeah,
and
we'd be
0.
24 and 0. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they could go 6 and
We definitely connect with the listeners. Yeah. Yeah, there's no, but
So
our
there's
listeners. are so
there's
good.
the bar, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, Jay.
24 and 0. We had one 12 and 0 week last year.
We did.
We're gonna do it
Let's
again.
do it twice.
I feel it.
And it would have been a fortune on a parlay. An absolute fortune.
Wow, that'd be. And you know, you actually could get some of that done because it wouldn't be a full parlay. It'd be a parlay, and then you'd roll all that into the next parlay, a 12 and 0 parlay, and then a 12 and 0 parlay. They may get a little suspicious when we'd have to do one on one service and then the other on a different one because they would have
Hey,
banned
they
us.
come investigate this all they
They
want.
think we had the Back to the Future book.
Yeah.
The sports almanac.
I'm beginning to believe Jay has a sports almanac, and I'm wondering why he doesn't share that with
He
us.
must have got it from Biff.
Yeah, that jerk. Well, anyway, we got some. How do we want to start this? Who wants to lead us off? Should we go with the listener?
Let's lead off with the listener.
Well, we got the listener. It's a joint listenership. It's Josh and Angie.
Oh yeah,
Our big time Janji, our big time audience members. They're usually with us for all the post games. They put their heads together and they picked an all Bulldog lineup. And I say that every game has a Bulldog in it. They don't necessarily pick with the Bulldog, so keep that in mind. They've got James Madison giving 7 against App State. They've got Missouri giving 7.5 to Mississippi State. That's the Bulldog in that one.
That's the weird line.
And then they've got Colorado State getting 3 against Fresno State. So they don't necessarily pick with Bulldogs, but anytime there's a Bulldog playing, they've got a view on that game.
Who's playing Fresno?
Colorado State.
All right.
Those are the Rams.
Is that Norvell's teams too?
As far as I know,
I believe so. Yes.
who keeps up with that kind of a thing? Well, I'll lead us off. Everybody's ready, right?
Yep.
Everybody's got their picks, right?
Yep.
All right. I've got Indiana getting 13.5 against the Ohio State University. I think that they have a real shot at outperforming. They haven't played anybody, but Ohio State hasn't looked good in playing anybody. So I like Indiana.
I'm just glad we get to watch that game.
Yeah, that will be good. That'll be a fun start to the day. I've got Ole Miss giving 10 to Florida, and I've got SMU giving 9 to Virginia. Connor, what do you have?
All right, I am going with UNLV giving 7.5 against San Jose State. Let's stick with the Illini. Got Illinois giving 1 against Rutgers. And then I'm gonna jump back on it. I've actually picked 2 of the same teams I did last week, and hopefully
Don't do it.
I've got BYU getting 3 against Arizona State, bouncing back from their disappointing loss on
Kansas.
Saturday.
All right, Lucas, what do you got?
I have Texas A&M minus 2.5 at Auburn. I've got Colorado minus 2.5 at Kansas. And I have Alabama Crimson Tide minus 13.5 against the lowly Oklahoma City.
You're a bastard. How
You
dare
suck.
you?
You
How
suck.
dare you to lock that?
How
Things happen.
dare you? That's disgusting.
I don't like it either.
I didn't want us to win until now.
There's so many other games that are better to pick than that.
Not from my vantage point.
Oh.
That just seemed too easy.
I tend to agree.
Oh
I also
my
have
God.
Alabama minus 13.5.
It's just-
Sad state of affairs.
It is a sad state of affairs. You know what though? I'll go that way just to maybe let the universe have its way and give us an OU victory, and I'll gladly
Or a 10
take
loss.
that. Nope, it will not be a 10. I will not lose both ways on that. It's either one way or the other. I'm gonna go against Connor,
No.
and I'm going to take the opposite of the BYU game. I'm taking Arizona State. BYU is a fraud.
Billingham's got it going.
And
We can't go 12-0 this week, guys.
Nope, we can't.
I don't know why
Focus on that one.
I'm taking this. I'm gonna take Kentucky plus 20.5.
Because they have a good defense.
Texas is
Yeah.
gonna be paying all their attention to Texas A&M.
And to Michael Fasusi.
I really want that to be true, but I'm telling you, I don't think so. I think Texas.
I think Texas.
I think
freaking
Texas is-
legit.
I don't think Texas is very good at all.
I think Texas is
think
going to
they're
win by 4
pretty
touchdowns.
damn
But
good.
I hope you're right.
Texas offense is doing anything right
I
now.
don't think they're that good.
I hope you're right.
They screwed me last week, I can tell you that.
Their defense is good. Kentucky's have a hard time scoring for sure.
Kentucky sucks at scoring regardless of who they're.
But Arkansas's defense is very middle of the road, and Texas struggled
Well,
against the same Arkansas team that Oklahoma State beat.
Barely.
is Brock Vandegrift still at Kentucky? Is he the
Yes.
starter?
Yes.
So as a former OU commit, I bet he really hates Texas, even when he flipped to Georgia at the end. Maybe he has a hatred for Texas that comes out in this game. He actually scores a couple times.
Why do you not try to
I'm here
find
for
this? Why do you not try to find this optimism with like OU things as opposed to things that
Yeah,
go against Texas?
yeah, really. It's a good point.
Just the way it works.
Well, we'll see.
Somebody's got to be a realist.
So you hope you're 2-1 at best,
Yes.
and you hope that one is an absolute that
I
they
hope
lose
so.
altogether.
Yep.
You want OU to win.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Do you?
Interesting.
As long as we're on the same page.
Interesting. Well, we got a prop bet of the week. You guys want to update on our prop bet standings? You're going to get it either way. As a group, we're 22 and 26, 46%. Again, no surprise. The only one that's positive is Jay. He's 8 and 4, 67%. Lucas is dead even, 6 and 6, 50%. Connor and I both at 4 and 8, 33%. So the prop bet this week is based on an interesting coincidence. So the OU offense is averaging 3.6 yards per rush. The Alabama defense is averaging 3.6 yards per rush given up. Plus or minus, over, under, 3.6 yards per rush for OU.
Over. Gonna run the ball.
This is what sucks. Is like sacks count
Sacks
against that
count.
stat.
Yeah, I don't like it.
We're gonna run the ball.
Get
more.
you.
I think we only throw it 18.
We may run the ball more, but we may not get 3.6 per rush. Running the ball a lot could be bad for that stat.
Xavier Robinson's he's gonna be a baller. He's gonna break.
You're going over?
I hope you're right. I'm going over. I'm a hopeful over.
3.6.
Welcome to Homerland.
3.6 would be, if we go over, I want to say round up to 4. We're getting 4 yards of carry. We're in the game.
So I'm gonna say also.
I'll say over.
Okay, and if it's a push, we go over, we round up. So whatever we get, we're gonna round up. So if it's 3.6, it's 3.61, so that it's over.
Yes.
You get that? Okay.
Indeed.
Connor's over. Jay?
I'm going over.
All right. Across the board, we're over, baby. Let's do it. Come on, Xavier Robinson. So do you think Sawchuk starts? Or does Tatum start?
Tatum starts.
I think so too.
Robinson second. Sawchuk for change of pace.
That's crazy that we're even saying that. I don't disagree with you.
Can he redshirt this year, or is he already redshirt?
What was our? What
No,
was the?
he'll Robinson?
No,
They asked Robinson about it.
Oh,
Sawchuk.
Sawchuk.
I don't think
is
so.
Sawchuk redshirted?
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
The first year.
Yeah, because he
Okay.
didn't play till the
His coming out
bowl
party
game,
was the freaking
basically.
Florida State game.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, we were like, why the F has he not been in the game all season?
he has been
Like we're saying,
hurt.
He was
so
hurt.
He is hurt this year.
He's hurt a lot, actually.
Yes, he's
It could be a medical redshirt
could be.
when he goes somewhere else.
Call.
Yeah, Colorado. Yeah.
You
Well,
know what's
let's
crazy?
make-
You know what's crazy about Sawchuk?
That he should be good. And he's not.
He broke every high school rushing record that was held. Christian McCaffrey.
Sometimes you don't pan out as a great high school player. That's the lesson.
Sawchuk is legit. I really believe that.
Oh, I think he is too.
And I just don't like it's just not there this year.
I don't think he's got enough chances. This year. Even when he was healthy,
Well,
I think
offensive
this
line
whole
and
different-
everything, right?
but it's a
one's
whole
had-
different story
no
though.
one's had a chance.
DeMarco, I'm done. I'm over DeMarco.
I actually am too.
I'm completely over DeMarco.
Pretty.
His rotations the last
Fed up
couple
with it.
years, his
Oh, I
the
totally
things
agree.
Tawi has said, who gets snaps, who doesn't get snaps. I mean, okay, yeah, Sawchuk's first 3 runs of the season were for 2 yards apiece, and then he doesn't see any time the rest of the game and gets 2 carries the next game. It's like, God, he just came off his
He
6
doesn't know how to
games
manage.
in a row of 100 yards last year.
He doesn't know how to manage the
Like,
depth
give him a
he
freaking
has.
chance.
But
Like
as
he
a
has a
recruiter-
ton of depth.
Pretty good
Yeah, but
because Tatum and Robinson are legit.
look what he's doing with them, though.
Well,
How
then, yeah,
long can
well,
that can
and
that
go
on?
make him.
You're
Go
gonna
make him the
put
next.
Xavier Robinson in for 1 play.
2 plays against Texas.
Yeah,
2 plays against was it Tennessee.
I don't know.
He played 2 plays in 2 different games.
And
we
then
were losing.
and then he finally
He
gets
played special teams, I think, is what it was.
in because of injuries. He gets a chance because of injuries, right? And he's looks like the best running back on the team. So did he just look like crap all year long in practice?
I don't think it's
He
that.
can't pass protect because he didn't come in until June.
I think it's probably pass protect.
Tatum can't
And no one
pass
thinks
protect.
that-
He's been
but
in there
I
since
think it's-
game 1.
I think it's a stronger indictment on DeMarco
100%.
that I don't think he can recognize when a guy needs a shot. And it's running back. Give the guy the ball. It just how many times have you seen a guy that I mean, look back at that Alabama team we talked about earlier and Derrick Henry. What should they have done? They should have been running Derrick Henry
The entire night.
much earlier.
Yeah.
Much
Didn't
earlier,
come-
not just in
didn't
that
come in
game,
until late
in
second.
that season.
Yeah.
So
But if Nick Saban can screw it up, then anybody can.
anyone can screw it up. That's true.
But DeMarco's been screwing it up.
I mean,
for
you
2
look
years.
at look at Adrian Peterson, and why in the hell wasn't he the starter? Why in the hell didn't he get to
Till
go?
Texas, right?
Till
Juwan
Texas.
Jones was a baller.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Yeah, there's nobody in practice. It's one of those deals where like you're in practice and you're just like, no, not this week, Adrian, but you're getting
they
there.
treat the running back the way you treat a quarterback. I get why you would play an inexperienced quarterback, but a running back
Could be a
with-
difference maker.
that's a difference maker.
For me, that is definitely one part, but with someone like a Sawchuk or somebody, like give him 15 carries. Let's see if okay, these 3 weren't good.
Right. Learn
The
by
4th
doing.
one goes for 70,
Right.
right? Like, but you can't just give him 3 carries
No.
and then be like,
exactly.
oh, let's try somebody else.
There's no
Right.
rhythm there.
I mean,
It doesn't work that
what
way.
do you like, what is that?
What are you seeing that says no, he doesn't know what he's doing?
And Caleb Hicks, everyone says Caleb Hicks just like off the bus or just standing there looks like by far the best looking athlete, physical specimen, I should say, of all the running backs. He's got like 3 carries.
And looks aren't everything, but still, you've got to get proof by playing them and seeing what they can really do in games. And our philosophy is the direct opposite. It's frustrating as can be. I completely
Offensive
agree.
roster management in total.
That might be the most.
Because last time we talked about it with wide receivers,
Yeah.
and then the amount of shuffling, maybe it was super needed this year on the O-line, but
Is there any coach who would be more surprising if he kept his job than DeMarco?
Bill.
Joe John.
yeah, Joe John.
If they said, go back to tight end.
I don't think so.
That would be more surprising than DeMarco.
Do you think so?
1,000%.
I don't know. The DeMarco
Because
has
the tight end
had,
position is the worst.
But
on the
DeMarco
team.
is one position.
and he's had the most
With
talent.
Joe John, you could say, you know what you're talking about. You've got
But Joe John
you've got
hasn't
skills
recruited
at
at all,
That's
other
true.
than the David Mitchell kill who
Who we won't play.
won't play.
He won't play.
Because he reclassified, he's not physically ready or whatever.
Which is bull.
Yeah.
Be up there.
It's
I don't know.
BS.
That would be the most surprising. If we
Yeah.
started next season and Joe John is still on this staff, I will question everything about.
Oh, that would be
decision.
horrendous if he just moves the tight end coach back. Yeah.
He won't.
Yeah.
He won't. He's
So
leaving.
that would be the most surprising.
And DeMarco second.
I won't be shocked
No.
if we keep DeMarco around because of his recruiting.
I
agree.
agree. I agree.
So that wouldn't be, I mean,
Like it's,
it would be surprising.
and I won't be shocked if Bill stays because we're freaking loyal to the guy and everyone says he's an amazing coach, except for
Well,
the people who are watching the
I'm
game.
not saying I agree with it, but I could see them saying Bill Bedenbaugh produces, Bill Bedenbaugh can recruit. I'm going to keep him. I want him. An OC coming in saying I want him. I would be real surprised if an OC comes in and says I want Joe John or I want DeMarco.
Well, I mean, DeMarco Murray turned down. He had a legitimate offer to go Ohio State. I mean, they were trying to get him to Ohio State.
They could have made a
Probably
mistake.
for recruiting.
They might have made a mistake too.
Yeah, I
don't
guess
know.
they could make a mistake too. But he's coveted. I just don't know. Have you seen anyone get better?
Kennedy Brooks got
Kenny Brooks is already Kenny Brooks. To me.
Okay.
What do you get, 1 year of Kenny Brooks?
Remind me though. Yeah, it wasn't that just 1
Yeah,
year,
it's like 1 year of 4.
and that was under Lincoln.
Well, Brooks played for 2 years.
No, I mean
Not
for
under DeMarco.
DeMarco.
When did DeMarco come in?
2018, I thought.
And Kenny, that'd be more Kenny Brooks then, because he played 19, he sat out 20, he played
I
21.
thought DeMarco came in 2018.
Then he had more than
He
1
didn't
year of Kenny
develop.
Brooks.
He didn't develop Kenny Brooks. No,
Yeah, because I thought, we
We'll
were
look at
saying Trey Sermon left because of DeMarco.
He's run off a lot of really good players.
And Trey Sermon goes on to be a freaking
A star.
all-star at Ohio State the next season. DeMarco
18
came.
seems
okay,
right.
he brought
Eric Gray got better his second year.
he brought in Eric Gray.
Eric Gray got
Okay.
way better his second year than
I'm
the first year.
incorrect. 2020 was his first year.
DeMarco?
Yes.
So he had 1
So
year.
1 year Kenny Brooks.
Yeah.
All right, back to Jay's point. He did not develop Kenny
Well,
Brooks.
he did because he wasn't amazing at 19, he was good.
He
Great
Yeah,
at
look
21.
what's Kenny Brooks'
he
career
was pretty
stats?
good. That was a pretty big disappointment when he set out 20. And I'm going to give anybody a little bit of
Eric Gray got better.
a
his
lack
second
of
year.
credit if you're coaching under a Lincoln Riley
He was
offense.
the MVP of the team.
Okay, okay. I'll give you Eric Gray. Who else?
Eric Gray's mediocre.
Yeah, Eric Gray is mediocre.
Who else has he brought in and there's just steady improvement year after year, just dominant running back?
So you look at Kennedy Brooks from 19 to 21. He plays 13 games each season. Had less carries in 19, had 155 carries in 19, 198 in 21. Went for 1,011 in 2019, went for 1,253 in 21. Averaged 6.5 in 19, averaged 6.3 in 21. So with the more attempts, that kind of makes sense. 6 touchdowns in 19, 13 in 21. Yards per game drastically goes up. 77.8 in 19, 96.4 in 21.
That's more carries.
That's an improvement.
That's more carries.
More carries, but I mean
More
that
carries. His yards is
His yards per
yards
carry
per
was
game,
better than
sorry, it
19.
wasn't- yeah, yards per game.
yeah, his yards per game went down.
Yeah, but he also caught passes in 21 where he didn't catch passes.
He didn't develop.
Anyways,
He didn't develop.
He averaged.
I don't think he looked like a different
6.6
player.
in
I don't think he would
19.
look like a different player. I don't think we came in like, oh my God, who is this
Yeah,
guy
we were
running this
totally
year?
disappointed in 20 when he
But-
sat down.
When he averaged 7 yards.
It's
per
semantics,
for his career.
But he hasn't developed anybody
Pretty good.
since he's
I
been.
could be 6-6 and 6-3.
Well, he played in 2018 as well, just a lot less.
So he has not developed anybody. He's run off good players. He's had weird rotations. He has
His
recruited.
best attribute is his recruiting.
Yeah, that's it. And how much of that is him?
Go make
and how
him
much of
Thad
that is
Turnip seed.
Oklahoma?
Go make him Thad Turnip seed and start recruiting everybody instead of just running backs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And give him an admin job.
Yeah,
Pay-
if he's
pay him
GQ in the
boatload.
household and with the mamas and everybody, and they all think he's fine and he's smooth, and
Well, and
yeah, go be a lead.
and he goes in with
The
the
lead
pedigree
recruiting
and
guy.
the rings, and
Yeah.
I'm this guy, and look at me, I'm DeMarco Murray. That's right. Look at where I am in the historical stats, and remember me with the Cowboys. Yeah, make him a recruiter.
And that's what sucks is we can go back to the podcast. He was the best running back in OU's history, in my opinion.
My opinion too.
And
Nice,
Now
no Joe
he's-
Mix.
now he's pissing me.
He's one of the top 5. He's definitely one of the top 5, and that's where it's sad, but he's not.
He
one of the
doesn't
top 5
hit women. He
running
just
back.
bangs former teammates' wives.
I mean, what year we hired DeMarco?
2020.
2020. So there's only been
That was a half season.
3 drafts,
3 drafts,
3 drafts,
Gonna be 4.
and he's got Eric Gray.
2021, 22,
Right?
He's
20.
got Brooks as well.
No, it's been 4. It's been 4 drafts.
I guess he gets
20.
credited for Kenny Brooks. Kenny Brooks in the league.
He got Ramondre as well. Ramondre got
Yeah,
drafted.
Andre was legit.
But-
Oh, no, that was.
No, that was
He was before.
that was 2019.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who was here? Jay Bolware, right? Was the
Was he the running
running
backs
backs
coach?
Well, he lived off of
Caleb moved to
he lived
the-
off of Kale's recruits. Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
whatever?
anyway,
Yeah.
that's kind of where he
Joe
is.
John will be no show.
Well, none of them are going to be there because we're going to clean house. It's going to be a whole different crew. One last thing. Let's predict the score for Saturday's contest against the Crimson Tide. Lucas, we already know what you're going to do, at least directionally. Go ahead and give us your numbers.
Oklahoma 13. Alabama 34.
That hurts.
It hurt to write that down.
Stings.
You should say it.
Jay, what do you got?
Alabama 31, OU 17.
I've got Oklahoma 21 in a run-heavy time of possession game. Alabama 17. Sooners win.
I don't
I
know
hope you're
how,
right.
I don't know how you can look at anything.
I hope you're right.
I don't know how you could look at anything and pick OU in this game.
But you're going to.
But I'm gonna pick OU in this game.
2 homers and a realist.
I've got
Two
a
realists.
this team that we're gonna see on
You have us
Saturday.
losing by double the spread.
No, you guys losing by 21.
Nearly
Spread's
double.
13 and a half.
Nearly double.
I have us barely losing by the spread.
This game, it's gonna look like the team that we always wanted this year and never got. It's gonna be frustrating, but at the end of the night, it's gonna be euphoric. I've got OU 27, Alabama 24.
I'm down. Bring it. Both
I
of y'all
love it.
scores. I'll take it. I'll
Absolutely,
be dead
take
wrong.
it.
I love it.
Of course you'd love it. Of course
We
you'd
are
love
gonna
it.
love it, and we're not gonna
You can't
stop
just be
partying.
chalk. You guys.
If we
are
win
chalk.
that game, we're going to pod immediately after.
Are we gonna do it immediately
Yes,
after?
we win.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%.
I think so
Not,
too.
you'll catch us on Sunday
Yeah. Sober Sunday.
after we have time to go digest
Yeah.
what happened.
Well, we're gonna be joining you Saturday night late. I guess it'll be into the wee hours of
I may
Sunday
be
morning.
slurring a little bit.
Oh, we're gonna be happy
if
and
we're
giddy.
on Saturday night, you're definitely going to be slurred.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
We're
We
gonna,
might even have my Uber driver.
you know,
jump
guys,
on
we're
it.
gonna have an Alabama fan in the house.
Oh,
We're having an
that's
Alabama fan to
right.
stay with us. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's gonna be real. We'll have them on the pod too if we win.
Oh.
If we don't, they will be gone. Well,
Well,
we'll pod Sunday and they'll still be here, and we will not include them on the pod. But
It's not. They're not unbeatable.
yeah, they're
They're
not
not
unbeatable. They're not
that
unbeatable.
lost
one's
to Vandy.
unbeatable.
They're not unbeatable.
They lost to Vandy.
They had
They
several
lost
close
to
games.
Vanderbilt.
They lost to Tennessee.
They lost to Tennessee.
They lost to
That's right.
Tennessee.
They
Just by name recognition, they lost to Vandy.
They're bad on the road.
they
We're gonna win this
there you
game.
go.
We're bad at home.
They've got a weak defense.
We don't talk about
We
that.
don't have an SEC victory on this field.
So,
Just
We don't talk about that ever.
Not until Saturday.
Unless you count Tulane as a former SEC member.
So
I do.
we're 5-0 when we win the turnover battle, and we're 0-5. It's that simple.
It's that
Jim.
simple.
Yep.
It's that simple.
No,
Hang on to the dang ball.
Well, that's all we have to do. So now that we know, I really appreciate it. We'll be back Saturday night to celebrate the victory. Until then, Boomer.
Sooner.